Hey everybody, here's a homework help for tonight over the TEAC 6.3a, which is to recognize that dividing by a rational number and multiplying by its reciprocal result in the same value or equivalent values. To get started, this is the basis of it right here. If you are dividing a rational number, which 2 is a rational number, any whole number can be made into a rational number by giving it a denominator of 1. So if we're dividing a rational number, what we've been working on for a while here at school is that number sentence is equal to the rational number multiplied by the reciprocal of 3/4, which is 4/3. Students have even created a song and that says, when dividing fractions, don't be shy, just flip the second number and multiply. So that's the number that we have flipped. The idea of this standard is that 2/1 divided by 3/4 will get the same answer as 2/1 times 4/3. Multiplying by reciprocal is actually how we divide fractions. We never really truly divide them, we multiply by the reciprocal. And so the relationship between this number sentence and this number sentence is the basis for the homework tonight. Understanding that we can write the same thing in several different ways. So on the homework tonight, I'm not going to give away the answers to this, but I'm going to help you with some of the ideas. It said Susie and Sally were working on an art project that required yarn. They found 4.5 feet of yarn in their home and decided to split it up evenly. Which of the following does not represent how much yarn each girl would get? So we've got a not question, meaning that 3 of these are going to work and 1 is not. Big clues in this problem are split it up evenly. That's a clue to tell us that we're dividing. We have 2 people, so that we know we're dividing it by 2. And then of course we know what the number is that we're splitting up. So I'm going to give you a couple of ideas with some different numbers, okay? For example, if we were talking about 6.5 feet instead of 4.5, and split up evenly between 2 people means we're dividing by 2. So initially, we would probably think about that as 6.5 divided by 2. But there's other ways that we can write that. As a fraction or as a mixed number, 6.5 is equal to 6 1/2. So 6 1/2 divided by 2, that's these two things are equal, just written a different way. And when we've changed it down here to multiplication, we have flipped the second factor. So 2, or 2/1, because we've changed this to multiplication, we have multiplied by the reciprocal. So 6 1/2 times 1/2 is the same thing as 6 1/2 divided by 2/1, or just 2. Also, another way we could write it, 6 1/2 is a mixed number, and we can make mixed numbers into improper fractions. We multiply our denominator, 6, times 2, which gives us 12, and then we add the 12 to the 1, which gives us 13, and then the denominator stays the same as it was before. 6 1/2 is equal to 13 halves. So if we have 6 1/2 divided by 2, then we can have 13 halves divided by 2. Or we could even use the 13 halves and also multiply by the reciprocal. So all of these are the same way, a different way of saying the same number sentence. All of them would yield the same answer when you're solving them. So there's not any actual solving going on in any of this. It's just asking you to think about this 4.5 feet divided up by 2 people, and 3 of these ways are going to give you that answer, and 1 of them is not. So think about the different ways that you can write these. Think about changing things to improper fractions if you would need to, or multiplying by the reciprocal. We want to do this standard right here. We want to recognize that dividing by a rational number and multiplying by its reciprocal result in equivalent values. It's just a different way of doing it that gives us the same answer. Okay. Down in the bottom, basically the same idea. 36 family members at a picnic. They need to create groups with an equal number of people in each group in order to play a game. Which of the following expressions could not be used to determine the number of groups the family can create? A lot of the same situations going into this as the first question, only they're not giving you the information of what to divide it by. So you need to be thinking about this. This is the key for number 2. You know you're dividing because they're trying to create groups with an equal number of people in each group, but you don't know how many numbers, you don't know how many people that's going to be in each group, and you don't know how many groups that's going to be. So you're going to have to think about 36 and how you divide it. What are the factors of 36? What can you divide by to make even groups? Okay, so for example, 7 doesn't go into 36 evenly. So if you're trying to divide 36 by 7, you're not going to get equal groups because it doesn't go into it evenly. But if we were to create a factor tree for 36 and think about all of the factors that go into it, that might help us. So 36 can be made a few different ways. The one that most of us know immediately is 6 times 6. And 6 and 6 can be made by 2 times 3. So we could make 2 groups of 6 if we could make 6 groups of 6 if we divided the 36 people by 6. We could divide them into groups of 2 or into groups of 3, and then there's other ways we could do it as well. 36 can also be seen as 9 times 4, and 9 would be the same as 3 times 3, and 4 would be the same as 2 times 2. So factors that we have are 2, 3, 6, 9, and also 4. Don't forget 4. So we could divide 36 in a lot of different ways. We could divide by 9, we could divide by 6, we could divide by 4, we could divide by 3, we could divide by 2. So knowing that there's lots of choices of what we divide these by, use that to think about your answer choices and which one of these would be correct. Okay? And when you see the multiplication sign in here, even though you know we're dividing, think about what that would look like if you went back to this 36 times 1/4. What would that look like if you unflipped the second factor here and put it back as a division sentence? So kind of work backwards a little bit for these to see if they make the statements true or not, because again, we're looking for the one that is not true. So hope this helps, and you can watch this as many times as you need to go back and think about these. But these questions will look a lot like some questions you're going to see on your upcoming CBA. So if you can solve these and understand these, you'll do well. Thanks for watching.